This is Volusia Today, a public information radio program brought to you by the County of Volusia.
Good morning, Volusia County. My name is Michael Ryan, and you are listening to Volusia Today, Volusia County's one and only trusted source for local news.
You'll appreciate you were not here last week, and I said that.
No, you didn't.
Yes, exactly. I did. Maggie was like, Maggie.
Did you really grind on the only?
Oh, like absolutely, absolutely. I had to say you're not hearing Michael Ryan. I had to disclose that because that's your catchphrase. I had to trademark it to you though.
Oh, my catchphrase is your catchphrase.
I appreciate that.
You feel free to use it anytime, man.
Public record.
That's exactly right. My name is Michael. That is one of my two co-hosts, Clayton. Clayton, good morning. How are you today?
Oh, could not be any better. It's Friday. It's the weekend,
right?
And football is back.
Oh, no.
Yes, football. Now, the college starts in a couple weeks, but high school football has returned.
Yes.
So I'm excited. Football is the best sport.
I'm so stoked because over the summer, we put a TV out by the pool. And then every time I want to go watch some sports, there's like nothing on. Literally, I had to watch ping pong in the Olympics in the pool. Which I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it, honestly. It was pretty intense if you've never watched it. Mm-hmm. It was good. I did not get to see the breakdancing in the pool, though. I missed that.
I'd like to see you try.
I don't know. What's so funny from our other co-host, Maggie. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good. I do think you should try breakdancing. I feel like you'd be oddly good at it.
Listen, I may have some Adidas and a kangaroo hat in the back of the closet somewhere.
I think you should go for it. I think they're taking it out of the Olympics next year.
They are. Yeah. They've already axed it.
Which is kind of sad.
One country whom shall not be named ruined it for everybody, and they're never going to be able to come back.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate. I struggled a little bit when they added snowboarding into the Winter Olympics because that was a little cutting edge for me. But then when they threw in breakdancing, it was.
And before we get to let's have a little debate here.
All right.
Do you consider, on this kind of like a sports topic, like think we're at ESPN, but do you consider something like gymnastics a true sport?
Yes, absolutely.
But the theory is always if your competitor is not able to influence your performance, it's not a true sport. Like even tennis, you go back and forth, but your competitor influences. Something like gymnastics, something like that. Even golf. I'm not hating on golf or gymnastics, but we're saying your competitors are not impacting your performance.
Oh, I completely disagree. I think watching a competitor is way more intimidating.
Okay, we got about 28 more minutes of a show.
Sorry,
we're
but
dig in right now.
So we're talking about gymnastics. We'll have that debate at the office.
First of all, as a girl dad who spent 10 years in competitive gymnastics, I can tell when she was 9 years old, she was more athletic than you on your best day.
I definitely think they. I think they definitely are sports. I just have always heard that argument.
And it better be a sport because I sunk about $30,000 into it every year, so it better be a sport.
Oh yeah, okay. I mean, they get into it. I mean, some of those girls are built.
Oh yeah.
It's intense. I wish I could do what they do.
Well, and if you really wanted to follow the argument along too, you could argue that the other performances do influence your performance. You could make that same argument, Clayton, about track, right?
Yep,
that's true.
Yes,
but
exactly.
Do you consider that to be not a sport?
No, I consider them all a sport. Maybe not breakdancing, but I consider all of them to be sports. But I always heard that argument.
No, yeah. I do think there's a different benefit to team sports versus solo sports, and which my kid always did solo sports. She did taekwondo and she played soccer for a minute, but there were too many other people on the team. She didn't like it. Right? She's an only child. And so she really found herself in gymnastics, joined softball later, and again, had to kind of relearn team dynamics and stuff. So I think there's benefits to both environments.
I understand. I was a tennis player, and I much prefer playing singles compared to doubles.
Yeah, really?
Yep.
Gosh.
Maybe that's an only child coming out in me.
All the only children in this room. I hate being alone. Don't make me do it by myself.
Oh, I broke Maggie's heart when I told her in college I had just a 1-bedroom apartment by myself.
You just sat there by yourself all the time.
See, that's divine. What did you tell me Clayton does alone the other day? We were talking about Clayton. It was like eating lunch or something.
Yeah, he'll go to a restaurant and just like have a meal by himself. And
yeah. I love nothing more than a lunch by myself.
Gosh,
yeah.
No, I go crazy. My brain just starts like wandering, and I'm like, I'm having a panic attack in the restaurant before I leave.
Okay. So enough about sports and only children syndrome and all that stuff. Let's dig into what are you guys doing this weekend? Big plans?
Oh my gosh, what am I doing this weekend?
But you've got to have wedding stuff coming up.
We do have wedding stuff. We're still figuring out caterer, which has been interesting. Next is the suit. That's like the big step for the next part. So got to figure out what all the men are wearing for the wedding.
I'm sure you're in charge of that, aren't you?
No, I told James he could do it, but I have a final like approval or veto authority because they have to match. So I can say no, or I can say yes, and he's colorblind, which doesn't help. So
or maybe it does.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah,
you might pick something super neutral.
Yeah.
So we'll see, but yeah, that's the next big step.
So are you tasting different caterers? Are you going to all that stuff?
Yeah. So we have tastings and stuff that we have to figure out, which it's a lot. And like all of the caterers are all over the county. So it's like, not like you go to one place and you taste 4 different restaurants.
Right.
It's like you have to go to like 7 different locations and 7 different days and all different
and just
times.
eat free food all day. That's got to be horrible. I don't know how you get through that.
It's stressful, I'm telling you.
It is stressful.
Yeah, and then we got to do cake. That's the other thing. So
I made the mistake of picking a caterer whom I knew, and so he's like, "Did you eat my food all the time? I'm not giving you free tasties." He goes, "You know what it tastes like."
Oh, that's annoying. That's kind of sad.
Well, so let's dig into a little bit of Volusia County news. Clayton, we missed you last night at the dedication for the Judge Stephen C. Henderson Courthouse.
Yeah, I read a lot about it, and you were actually there. Tell us a little bit like how hers well attended and everything was great.
I tell you what, for an event like that, if we get 30, 40, 50 people, we're happy, and I don't know, probably 70. Mr. Henderson, Judge Henderson, had quite a few family members, and so it was good to see them. And I tell you what, if you want to see a who's who, do something at the courthouse. And normally, you know this, we'll do a list of kind of the VIPs in the room to recognize them from the podium. And somebody came in and was like, we need to do the list. And I was like, I don't know where to start the list. Like everybody in the room is a VIP.
Just everybody stand up.
Yeah. So it was well attended, and the family got to unveil the plaque, and which the plaque inside the building is nice, but if you see the front door, it is pretty impressive to see his name across it. So I know that was a long time coming, and we had several council members there, 1 or 2 council members who were real involved in making that happen. So it was a good event.
Great.
For sure. Tell us a little bit about what happened at the airport this week, Clayton. They got an award?
We've been talking a lot about the airport in the last few shows. Like they've had, Velo Airlines announced return. Yes, there you go. Yep. That's how you know how to say it. So they announced that they're returning flights to Hartford, Connecticut, and then also last week, Breeze Airways announced that they're coming, starting 4 new adventures, as they call it, not just cities.
Yeah.
So the first one starts in November, and I think the following 3 start in February. And just this week, the Florida Department of Transportation recognized our airport as the top airport, commercial airport in the state of Florida.
Wow, nice.
So that was a great, wonderful award. And the county actually, we won this award last in 2021. So this is the second time we won it, and it's very uncommon that an airport wins it twice within that time span. I actually talked to Joanne about this last night. It's like, hey, how big of a deal was this actually? And she goes, some airports, they have won it multiple times, but it's extremely rare for one to win it within the same decade.
That's cool.
So it was just an amazing award. Again, that just shows the wonderful things going on at the airport, getting new airlines, new flights, and just the recognition. It's top notch.
Yeah, I spent a couple days out there this week, Clayton, and as you know, economic development is based in the airport, so they work closely with it. And I did not realize until this meeting this week how much economic development is involved in the land, the open property around the airport, and how much potential is there, and what they're working together to bring in companies. I think we're gonna have a big announcement fairly soon. Hopefully, we just announced was it Boeing recently, if I remember right?
Oh, with Embry-Riddle.
With the partnership with Emory, yeah. So there's a lot going on out there, and talking to economic development and just the potential of what we're going to be able to do with that property, and we're talking, new jobs, which is the upcoming announcement, maybe more than 1,000 jobs, if I heard it right. New jobs. Think about what it's doing for the tax base, everything. So lots of stuff going on at the airport. We also just last week, I know we talked about this last week, but on Friday we opened up the DeLand station of SunRail.
Yes.
And there was you're all things transportation for us.
Yes.
There was an announcement after that.
Yeah. Well, the VoRide program, and I think I've talked enough about this on the air, so people are probably sick of it, but for maybe our new listeners out there, VoRide is Volusia County's curb-to-curb rideshare initiative. It's extremely affordable. It starts about $2 per ride. The only difference between the VoRide compared to traditional rideshare services is it may not always be a direct, they come pick you up at your house and they take you directly to your end destination. One way we're able to keep this affordable is, I like to call it a true rideshare. They may come pick you up, and then maybe if you're on your way to the grocery store, they may pick up another passenger who's also needing to go somewhere in your area. But again, bringing it back to the SunRail, VoRide, the county actually received a grant from the Florida Department of Transportation to offset cost for people who are needing to go to or from not just the DeLand SunRail station, but the DeBary SunRail station as well. So, say for example, you're at within up to an 8-mile 8-mile zone,
radius,
within the VoRide zone. So if you're at your house and you're saying, I want to take VoRide, I want to go check out some stores, you'll go eat somewhere, something like that, outside of your area, you can get on the VoRide app. You put in where you're at, your house, and then you click the DeLand or DeBary station, and you'll see that the fees have been waived. So and from. So that's a free ride. I told somebody the other day, said, that's a great way, to get safely somewhere if, you're maybe going out for a few adult beverages or something like that. So good. I mean, again, it's a grant from the Florida Department of Transportation, so we want to give a shout out to them. But again, it's just another avenue to, help promote the new stations.
To what new airlines, new routes. They announced 4 new routes out of the airport last week, which is unprecedented. And now new railway, VoRide, all kinds of transportation opportunities here. Lots of progress happening. Let's take a break and we'll come back and talk about some more programs.
Subscribe to the Volusia County YouTube channel.
And hit the bell icon to know what's happening in your hometown.
There are so many great places to explore.
And things to learn.
With over 1,000 videos available right now, the channel offers something for everyone.
Let's go!
Did you know we have countless features showcasing history, nature, wildlife, and recreation? Subscribe and hit the bell icon.
Or that we live stream important county meetings and workshops where leaders make decisions that can impact our everyday lives. Did you subscribe yet?
Or that we record our weekly radio show, Volusia Today, where we interview staff from the different divisions and departments across our great county, and they discuss the nitty-gritty of their field and expertise.
Go ahead, subscribe.
But that's not it. There's more. Subscribe and hit the bell icon and fully explore.
Score!
Welcome back to Volusia Today. We're talking all things Volusia County, and we do have some exciting stuff coming up. We have the International Coastal Cleanup coming up, which is super fun. Have you guys heard about it?
Yes.
No, tell us.
No, oh my gosh.
I've heard about it.
So it's really exciting. They have all sorts of stuff going on. Last year, they had so many people come out and clean up so much off the beaches and the rivers, which was awesome. Registration is now open until September 8th. So go in, register at volusia.org/cleanup. But you can participate in over 20 sites along the beach, the Halifax River, and Indian River, which is awesome. So it's going to be all over the county. And it's going to be on Saturday 21st from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. So
Hey, why would I do that?
What do you mean, why? You got to keep it beautiful. You got to keep Volusia County beautiful. That's the goal, right? And so it makes such a big difference. I think, I'm trying to remember how many tons of trash they cleaned up at the last cleanup, but it was significant.
I don't remember the tons. I remember there's more than 1,100 volunteers, though.
Yes.
I remember that.
Yes.
Wow, that's massive.
Yes.
That is.
Yeah, so many people come out to this, and it's such a... it's a great way to help the community and clean up, but it's also a great way to meet people, too. I mean, what a great way to meet people who have similar values to you and go out there and build your community. Right. It's an awesome opportunity to clean up our community and keep it safe and beautiful.
Wait, so is it intercoastal or is it beach or both?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah, so it'll be the Indian River, Halifax River, and there's 20 sites along the beach.
Yeah, I think that's important to talk about because we always think about beach cleanups, right?
Yeah.
And those happen quite often. And unfortunately, they're necessary quite often. Obviously, we do quite a bit of tourism. People come and go that don't necessarily live here and don't treat the beaches necessarily the way we do sometimes.
Yeah.
So it's a good opportunity, like you said, get out and take care of your hometown.
Yeah, and also, I mean, after the summer, we have so many tourists that come in for the summer to go to the beaches and stuff. This is a great time to get out there and help keep our community beautiful.
You know how you could have learned about that? Maggie?
Do tell me.
You could have signed up for the News You Can Use newsletter, Maggie.
Oh, yeah. That one's awesome.
All you have to do, and James, I'm sure James has signed up for the News You Can Use. Yes, of course he has, right?
Yeah.
So, but listen, he is not getting a ring unless he signs up for our newsletter. Let him know that.
I will double check.
We ain't putting no ring on nothing until he signs up for the newsletter. The best way to get information out of us when you can't listen to the radio show is to sign up for the News You Can Use newsletter at volusia.org. It's monthly, quick and easy in your email, a handful of stories, quick and easy way to find out about stuff like the coastal cleanup.
Yeah, you get a list of events too, which I think is super helpful. I know being plugged into the events in the county is awesome. There's so many things that we do around the county that I think people don't know that we do, and being part of the newsletter, I think, is a great way to find those things out.
And it's also a way to help that we can communicate during a crisis event, like her Tropical Storm Debbie that came through a couple weeks ago. Like we were able to issue information about sandbags, other type of important notifications. So again, that we don't spam you, but we would definitely keep you informed.
Clay, let's talk about the EOC and emergency management real quick for a second. As you know, we had a what I would call a dry run with Tropical Storm Debbie, right? But it's a good way for us to go test our processes and test the equipment and stuff, make sure everything's ready to go. A couple more storms hanging out there. What's the best way for me as a resident, Clayton, to stay involved and understand what's going on at the EOC and stay abreast of their information?
Oh, I don't want to hurt your feelings and say the best way, because in your opinion,
it's not my newsletter.
in your opinion, every way is the best way to stay informed. Multiple avenues, but we did want the week before Hurricane Debbie came, we actually launched a new emergency management app, and sure enough, a week later, here comes Debbie, and it worked just as we planned, and it was perfect. So again, kudos to our information technology division. They're the ones who developed this in coordination with our emergency management division. Anything that we put news release or through the News You Can Use newsletter or on social media, it actually gets pushed through the app. You can get notifications, so you learn about everything. Also, there was I think about 12 or 13 different sandbag distribution locations that popped up.
Right.
So all of those are populated on the app, as well as we did not have to open shelters for that, but in the event that we ever do have to open shelters, those locations will be on there as well. So it's just another communication channel that we try to keep people informed with.
Yeah, I think it's also important to know too, if you have the old app, you have to delete it.
Yes.
You have to delete it and upload the new one. The old one is no longer being populated, is no longer active.
And the best way I tell people to know the difference, because the icons are the crest of the emergency management division. The old app has public protection at the top of the crest, and the new one has emergency services. That's way to look and see which version you have.
Hey, I tell you what, when Debbie was headed our way, I had my wife, delete the old one, download the new one and stuff. Oh my God! Now she's apparently a weather expert. Every time I walk by, she has to. She reads. Because we get all the alerts through it too. That don't, not just out of the EOC, but out of the National Weather Service and stuff. Mm-hmm. And so she's like, "Did you know there's a typhoon in China right now?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" Like, but she's now more informed than she's ever been, which is.
Hey, you're getting her there.
Yeah.
And then just while we're on the topic of emergency management, just let everybody know we're likely not to receive any inland impacts from Ernesto out there.
Right,
but there is going to be some rough surf and increased potential for rip currents starting today and throughout the weekend. So again, we just want to caution out there, just because the weather's supposed to be nice. Just watch yourselves out there, and if you do get in water, and
go ahead.
And like the standard message, if you are ever going to enter the water, make sure you do so in front of a staffed lifeguard tower. And you can always find the staffed lifeguard towers through the Volusia Beaches app. See, that's my tagline, Michael.
That was nice. Yeah, I know you took. I was gonna. I was gonna ask you where you swim.
I'll beat you to it today.
All right, so let's take one more break, and we'll come back and wrap it up with a little more Volusia County news.
Avoid and escape rip currents.
Please leave the beach cleaner than you found it.
There we go. Look out for one another and keep an eye on kids, especially near the traffic lane and in the water.
Pets are allowed at our 2 pet-friendly beaches, Lighthouse Point Park and Smyrna Dunes Park.
If you see something, say something.
A clean and safe beach guarantees fun in the sun for everyone. Thank you for doing your part to keep Volusia County beaches beautiful.
See you at the beach!
Make the most of your day at the beach. Download the Volusia County Beaches app today. Sign up for real-time notifications on vehicle ramp openings and closings. Find staffed lifeguard towers. Get updates on tides and beach conditions. Plus, off-beach parking and coastal parks info. Volusia County Beaches app is available for your smart devices at the App Store and Google Play.
Welcome back to Volusia Today. This is Clayton Jackson along with Michael Ryan and Maggie Hessler. You're listening to Volusia County's one and only trusted source for local government news. I took that from you, Michael.
That was a little bit of.
He was giving me the side eyes. So a couple other things. This is very important for our oceanfront property owners who were impacted by the 2022 hurricanes Ian and Nicole. The Florida Department of Environmental Protection has actually increased the amount of financial reimbursement assistance through its Hurricane Restoration Reimbursement Grant. The big news we want to put out there is that they are now eligible for 100% reimbursement for sand placement. That is the biggest improvement.
That's huge.
That is very huge. And that
Maggie, have you ever bought sand?
Maybe I want to.
You probably have bought sand.
I have bought sand.
I knew it. Sand's expensive.
It is expensive. It can add up quickly too, because you go and you're like, oh, it's like $4 a bag, and then you're like, oh, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
but then you're trying to put it on a beach.
That's right.
Yeah,
you're
exactly.
trying to
like,
yeah.
Very specific sand. It's not the sand you put in a little turtle sandbox that your kids play with. So that's the big news out of that. And also for our condominiums out there, they actually have doubled the amount of financial reimbursement assistance. It used to be you could get up to for shoreline armament. So used to you could get reimbursed up to $300,000. Now you can get reimbursed up to $600,000 for 50%. So if your total shoreline armament costs were $1.2 million, you can get reimbursed of 50% of that, which would be $600,000. And the state, the FDEP, they do recommend that even if you already have applied and you receive payment, that they encourage you to reapply because some of the other intricate guidelines may change, which you may be additional for more assistance. So again, that FloridaDEP.gov/HRRGP. That's the website to go to. Again, check that out.
Okay, I'm going to check that out, Clayton.
Sorry, I was waiting for somebody to jump in. It's like I just feel like I'm hogging the show today.
I mean, that seriously really is a big deal for those homeowners who have been trying to recover for a couple of years now.
And this is legit, like nearly 300 property owners have received assistance through that. And just alone in Volusia County, the state's issued almost $19 million.
Wow.
So, and there's only about $30 million left. That's the end of July. So any of our oceanfront property owners out there listening, I'd go on and apply sooner rather than later.
Yeah, $30 million sounds like a whole lot of money.
But not when they're giving, you could give to $600,000. That could go quick.
Again,
and that's across the state, $30 million. So,
Clayton, transition us off the beaches and talk about roads a little bit. How do I give some input on what roads I think are important?
Well, the county has its upcoming roads priority list, and we have 4 impact zones throughout the county, and our public works department is going to be going around starting next week. They're going to be doing public meetings where the public works staff, they will present the roads list, the priority list. They can talk about each of the projects. This is what we're planning to do. And then the residents can give their feedback on them. And the road improvements, it could be capacity such as widening, extending, or even new roads, safety improvements like extending shoulders, things of that nature. So again, there's 10 projects on that list, and we'd recommend people to go. They're able to listen to the staff, and then they're able to give their feedback. And then at all of this is on our website, volusia.org. There's going to be a meeting in New Smyrna, in Daytona, in Ormond, as well as DeLand. And the one in DeLand will be on August 29th. And all of these meetings for 6 to 7 p.m. But the one on the 29th will actually be live streamed on volusia.org. So if you're unable to make it to one of those meetings, we'll be posting the recording of the meeting as well as the priority list and other relevant documents on there for continued feedback.
All right, Clayton, listen. So I'm not going to lie. That sounds super boring. Why do I care? Why would I go to one of these meetings? Help me understand.
Well, what do you mean? Like we all had to take a road. We all had to take a road to get here.
That's true. I did take a road to get here.
If people, they complain about my road needs fixed or this issue. This is your time to give that input.
Yeah, I mean, how often are you driving on the road? You're like, wow, there's a lot of potholes on this road. I should call somebody. Yeah. I don't know who to call. This is your. But then also, it's an opportunity. Again, this is the Volusia County's road priority list. A lot of people are just under assumption that it's the county owns and maintains every single road in the county. Right. Which I mean, you have state roads, you have city roads, and then you have your individual private roads. So you may come to me and you say, well, what about this? It's like, well, that's actually a state road. You have to contact them because we can't maintain that. So it's a good educational opportunity too.
Well, and like you said, most of us drive on a road almost every day, right? And my wife and I were talking about this week about, she's all excited about the presidential election and stuff, and we were talking about all politics are local, and the stuff that happens right down the street from you impacts your life every day versus the stuff that's in DC that may impact you once a year or something. So this really is a good opportunity to get out, let your county understand and know what you think the transportation priorities are. And it's something as simple as, like Maggie, like you just said, a pothole or a stop sign that wasn't there yesterday is there now affects your life every day. And it may be a good thing or a bad thing, I don't know, but it's a great opportunity to get involved and let your county know what you think about their programs, especially roads. So you guys have a good weekend. Stay safe. It's going to be hot again this weekend, and the libraries are still serving as cooling stations. That's right.
They are. And I just got to give one quick kudos to our summer food program. Oh, yeah. They served more than 109,000 meals this summer.
Wow.
All right, Volusia County, have a great weekend. Stay safe. And if you go in the ocean, where do you go, Clayton?
In front of the staff lifeguard tower.